One man who doesn't like the U.S. tax bill is Canadian Finance Minister Jim Flaherty. Flaherty was here in New York on Friday. He says extending tax cuts for high earners will not stimulate the economy. You're going to hear him say that in just a minute. First, though, I asked Flaherty about the Canadian economy.
I think the biggest risk to the Canadian economy now is the risk arising out of the state of the economy in the United States, quite frankly, that we want to see a strong American recovery because that's very important to a prolonged recovery in Canada. We're seeing modest growth now. Things are okay. Our fiscal situation is good. You know, we're reducing business taxes. There's lots of incentives. On the dollar, you know, the fact that we're seeing a sharp increase in the acquisition of machinery and equipment because of, in part, the strength of the dollar and tax policy is a good sign in the longer term. We won't see the benefits of that for a while. And the dollar, you know, is higher vis-a-vis the U.S. dollar, but there are lots of other currencies too.
True, there are. Now, if the state of the U.S. economy is the biggest risk to the Canadian economy, are you encouraged, satisfied, troubled by steps being taken here? You think that they're doing the right thing?
I'm encouraged by the tax step taken this week, although in terms of stimulus, as you know, tax reductions for lower income people result in more stimulus more quickly than tax for the wealthy.
So you wouldn't have restored or wouldn't have extended the tax cuts for the high earners here?
It's less important because the benefit for the economy is less. And we found that when we've reduced taxes, that reducing taxes for those, the tax burden on those at the lower end of the scale, they need the money and they spend the money. That's an immediate stimulus in the economy.
Well, in order to reduce taxes, as you know, they have just proposed a bill that would add $857 billion to the U.S. debt. It's got to be financed out of deficits. Given your concerns about the American economy, what message does that send?
Well, this is still the largest economy in the world, but there is a need, obviously, in all of our economies to have a plan. I think the European situation is showing that it's important to have a plan, showing how one will come out of deficit and get to balance over a period of time.
But there is no plan.
I'm sure, though, that over time that some sort of outline will emerge in all of our countries because we're seeing the consequences of not doing that in Europe.